Hello, everyone. Hello, world. Hello. Hopefully, you are listening to me. Welcome. I hope that you're doing fine. I hope that you're doing good. Today, we have something different. So, I've been wondering how I can make my own Dawless device. And I've been studying and I came across an idea. Someone in on Reddit actually put me on the right track. Uh, Basically, they told me that they were using, I think it's a Radxa. Radxa. It's like one of those tiny little computers, and they were using like Bluetooth MIDI in order to control soft instruments like VST plugins using actual gear. They had it all like connected. And I thought about it, and I thought that it would be great to explore this topic um, because it seems like a great piece of gear to have in your studio, right? So you know that the computer can do a lot of stuff. Of course, can do almost anything in terms of music. The problem is you don't really want to be stuck to a screen, right? You don't want to actually have to use a keyboard and mouse to use the devices. You want something that takes you away from the screen because most of us are actually using computers all day, and the last thing that we want to do is being stuck to a screen like after work, right? So that's why most people that go to Dawless, well, I wouldn't say most, but a good portion of people that go to Dawless, they do it because they want to get away from the screens. They want something that is more intuitive, more tactile, in order to make music. Um, but the matter of fact is, Dawless gear, they're limited by design, and that's actually great. That's good because limitation inspires creation, right? And innovation in how we produce things. But sometimes it's good to have the sort of elasticity, the possibility of actually uh, using what we actually want on a device, right? The problem is the more complex a Dawless gear gets, the more expensive it also gets, right? Um, and so a computer would actually be a great way to minimize that because you can get a computer for cheap nowadays. Um, and then you can just add software to it, which comes to the final point, which is like, I guess the most complex thing in this equation is actually making the software interact with the hardware, right? And how it does. Like, can we fake some piece of Dawless gear using a computer? And yeah, I've been thinking about this. I had these three scenarios in mind that with a computer, you could potentially use it as a normal instrument, like a synth, like an actual synth that you could sequence either using like a keyboard, a MIDI keyboard, or some other gear, some external gear. So you could use it as an instrument, as a audio effects processing piece of gear. Like, for example, you could have it to process your vocals while you're playing live, or you could have it like an end of chain processing unit to apply compressor, limiter, or overall effects, any sort of effects. Um, and I had another thing in mind, but I forget it right now. It doesn't matter; it'll come to me. And so you have all of these that you can do with a computer. And like I said, the most complex thing is actually making it interact with the gear that you already have, right? And I think there's several ways to do it. Of course, you're going to have to use MIDI. Um, but a thing that I will use today is this. This is my Zoom Live Track L6, and I think this is a really good piece of gear for this because it has 6 inputs, right? So it has 4 stereo and 2 mono. But besides that, it also has a MIDI in and out, like on its own. So you could use it to kind of be like the translator of your MIDI messages of your computer to the hardware gear, and vice versa. Theoretically, of course. That's what I want to test today, if this is even possible. But in theory, that's what you could do. You could send signals, MIDI messages from in and out of the computer, depending on the type of thing that you want to do. And another thing that is good is that it has all of this input. So if you want to process several of your hardware gear, for example, I have a Digitech here, a Digitone, and a couple of circuits. If I could process each of these signals separately, right? Apply their own effects on the computer and have like like almost unlimited amount of effects that I could apply to them, and have the end of chain compressor and anything to kind of bring them all together to make them more cohesive. And so this seems like the perfect piece of gear to do this. But of course, I think that other pieces of gear that have USB audio, for example, capabilities like the Digitect and the Digitone, they could also work for this because they also have USB MIDI. So in theory, you should be able to replicate this, although with less inputs. But yeah, this is what I'm going to use today. And as for the computer, I bought something from AliExpress. It's a mini PC with an Intel N100 processor. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and also 256 gigabytes of hard disk space. So it's not. Bear in mind that this is not going to be a powerhouse of a computer, right? It's not even in terms of music stuff. Some effects and as you pile on the different signals and the different instruments and whatever the plugins, they take a lot of computer resources to run. So I don't expect this to allow me to have a lot of things going on at the same time. It's something else that I want to test. But it costs something like it costs less than 100 euros. So it's a pretty good price. It has like 4 USB ports, and I believe that 3 of them are USB 3. It has an Ethernet port, which it's not really necessary in this case, but it's good to have. It has Wi-Fi, and it also has a Bluetooth. So in theory, if you have some kind of Bluetooth MIDI device, I think it should be able to connect with it. I don't know. I don't own anything that is MIDI Bluetooth or Bluetooth MIDI, so I can't really test that. But for the purposes that I want, I think this is good. I think this could work. And yeah, you can see it right now on the screen. This is going to be a little sucky to kind of use because I don't have like a second screen with just the input from the computer. I have to use Streamlabs to look at it, and there's sort of input lag. So if it looks a little wonky, now you know why. I'm sorry about that. But it came pre-installed with it came with Windows 11 pre-installed. If I was you, and if you want to use this on a more common type of usage, like for everyday stuff, like for example, you want to use it for web browsing or to access your Gmail or whatever, I wouldn't recommend that you use the Windows 11 that comes with it, just because it came from the internet. You don't know what happened there. You don't know what whatever the manufacturer, if the manufacturer tampered with the actual Windows 11. So I would just clean everything and start with a fresh install of Windows 11. But like I said, I don't want to use this for anything else other than building a Dawless kind of device, right? So it's fine for me. I didn't bother with reinstalling anything. I just used it as is, and so far it's so good. I ran like a Windows debloater. Let me just have a sip of water. I ran Windows debloater just to get rid of the crappy stuff that Microsoft usually bundles with Windows. But besides that, nah, I just installed Ableton Live. Yeah, that's what it has right now, and also Cardinal. And Cardinal, in case you don't know, Cardinal is well, if you know VSV Rack, the digital modular thing, it's basically that, but it also allows to host VST plugins. And VSV Rack also allows to do that, but it's a pay thing. So you have to pay something like 120 euros to have that sort of functionality. Um, and with Cardinal, it's just there. I haven't used it yet. It's something that I want to explore. But I know that it is possible, and I don't think I'm going to use it today. This is like for a later project that I want to test. But in case you're wondering what that is, now the bad thing about Cardinal is that unlike VCV Rack, it is not allowed to install other modules. So it comes prepackaged with, well, like a thousand, more than a thousand probably modules, but that's it. I don't think you can sideload any other modules. So it's just those. I don't think that's a problem because it has tons of them. Um, but you do lose some of the more obscure and open source things that VCV Rec adds over time in their library. But something to keep in mind. Um, what else can I say about this? Yeah, like I said, like cheap thing, 100. The plan, like it's all connected, so I can show it. I can show it right now, but it's like, wait, it's like this size. It's almost exactly like this size, like in terms of length and width. It's like this size. In terms of depth, it's about like this. So it has some girth, but it's really small. And if it works the way that I think it could work, I could just shove it like below the pedal board that I use for the circuits, for example, and use it headless, so to speak, without a screen. I would set up everything to start along with Windows with the correct templates and whatever. And I would just turn on the computer, everything would start automatically. I would connect the necessary cables, and in theory, it should all work like a normal piece of gear. That's what I'm here to test. All of these things. So yeah, I think I've been talking for I don't know, like 15 minutes or so. I think that's enough talking, and we can actually get to the setup of this thing. And in case you have any questions or anything that you want to talk about, let me know. This is going to be like a more chill thing. There's probably going to be like a few problems or a lot of problems with this. Maybe it won't work at all. I don't know. This is like I'm going into the unknown, as they say. But yeah, like I said, we're going to start with the Zoom live track. L6. And it can be powered using a single USB-C cable. So I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to have to install the drivers because I haven't done that yet. And I want to make sure that everything is working well with the Zoom live track. So let's see if we can boot up. Yeah. The Zoom live track is turning on. And let's see, does it provide any sort of notification or anything? No. So we're going to have to go to the Zoom website and just basically install drivers. Huh? Riveting content. Zoom L6 drivers. Yeah. And L6 support. Firmware. Firmware is still the same. I don't know why Zoom hasn't updated. I mean, it's been like almost a year that they haven't updated this device, and it's so cool, but it has well, that's a topic for another day. I need the driver. It's being downloaded, and I also need the editor. So let me see. I want to get to the driver and edit. Let's start with the driver. Extract all. Yeah. Everything is being downloaded and everything. I'm actually curious to see how it can handle live in an actual, like Ableton Live in with actual usage, because it could potentially be like really cool. Really curious about this. I even thought about if this actually works as I think it will. There's actually some screens that you can buy in AliExpress, like touch screens that are like little plaques, rectangles. And I don't know, I could like create something with Touch OSC, if you know what that is. It creates surfaces, control surfaces for whatever you want, for whatever software that you want. And if it's possible, I could use that and have like a command center just for that, and control different parameters of the gear and different parameters of the soft synths that I'm using. Think, Daft Punk, they used to use these, I think it's Lemur. They had these devices that were touch screens, back in the early 2000s or whatever. These devices cost like more than 2,000, 3,000 euros. And they looked so cool in the little pyramid of theirs, just like scrolling things and touching these virtual knobs and everything. It looks really cool. Maybe I could do something like that. Who knows? Anyway, this has been installed correctly. That's great. And now we're going to move to the editor. I don't think we'll need to edit a lot of stuff on the options, but it's good to have it here in case we do, right? So MSI. Next. Yeah, let's go. By the way, I did a proof of concept before using my actual computer. So this is not, I'm not going completely blind to this. It just might not work with the specific hardware or the way that I intended to work. But I actually done something with my actual computer, what I was able to use live as kind of like a layer to transmit commands to my Digitact using one of these, which is what I plan to use. I don't like, if you know what this is, you're probably as old as I am. This is a Korg Nano Control. And these were released back in 2010, maybe earlier. These are USB control surfaces, sorry. It has like 9 rows with one knob, one fader, and 2 buttons. The cool thing is it has different scenes. Like it has 4 scenes, so each of the scenes can control different parameters, and you can set different MIDI channels for each of these. So with one of these, you could control, like for example, 4 different devices or 4 different channels on the same the same device. And I actually have 2. I never gave it much use, but they're USB only. There's no MIDI in this. There's only USB MIDI, and that's why I wanted to try and take advantage of this, even though they're like super cheap and stuff. But they're here collecting dust, so if I could find some cool way of using them, it would be cool. And that's another thing that we'll have to install is we have to install the Korg editor and the MIDI drivers to work. Since this is already done, I'm gonna step right to it. Let me just connect one of these. Give me a second to grab a cable. The cable that you need is never. Oh, that's not the one. Okay, there's one here. All right. So many cables. You can never find the right one. But here it is. Let me just. No, it's not the right one. Oh my. Come on. Okay. This is a problem because if I can't find one, I'm gonna need 2 eventually. But okay, that's fine. That's fine. And like this. All right. I'm gonna connect it to the thing. And it's on. So at least we know oh, this cable is a little bent. It's okay. It seems to be working. Doesn't matter. Let's try and install. And the other day I went into a rabbit hole with this Korg because they don't really work in newer computers. They were meant to work with, I don't know, like Windows XP and Windows Vista maybe. So it can cause a little bit of a problem when you try to use them in older devices. I eventually managed to find out how, but yeah, it's still problematic. I'm gonna have to use this USB drive, so I'm gonna need to unplug. Oh man, I hope that you guys are doing fine. I'm just chilling out there. It's a cloudy day here in Portugal. Doesn't look too good, but at least it's not as hot. This is not the thing that I want. And yeah, I have it here. Korg. And I think we'll start with oh, I don't have the actual. Okay, let's just try to use this. So Korg devices, and apparently it's not just these nano control things. Korg devices actually care about the MIDI order that you have in your computer, which is a little bit dumb. I never heard of that, of such a thing, and yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. So as you can see, it is dumb me. It's not connected. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna have to copy all of this to my actual computer. What a dumbass. Okay, Korg. Now, plug out and plug the Korg again. There you go. And here you go. Now we can try again. Let me just close this. Korg control editor, exactly. All right. Let's see if it works first try without having to actually use, no. Okay. Come on. Ah, it worked. All right. It actually worked. And as you can see, you have the scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. This is synth 1. This is something that I did like, I don't know, almost 20 years ago. Not 20, but almost. Where I had like this show that I did, and that's why scene 1 is called show. It's only for that. And as you can see here, we can set like a MIDI channel for this. And I believe that each group common, which is like each row that we have here from 1 to 9, can actually have a specific MIDI channel. I don't think you can then select each for knob, but it's cool that each row can apply to a specific MIDI channel. I think that's really cool and allows us to kind of control a lot of things in this. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to try is basically to control the digitact. And I want to control, for example, the delay parameters of my digitact. Let me just turn it on. Yeah. And what I'm going to do right now is, for example, I'm going to connect all of the MIDI that I need. And one thing to keep in mind is that the live track is MIDI type B, if I'm not mistaken, because it uses the same type of MIDI. So it has MIDI TRS because the plug is not like a full-sized one. So because it's like this, you need to use a specific cable. And there are two types of TRS MIDI. There's type A and type B. I believe that the SP404, don't quote me on this, but I believe that the SP404 is MIDI type B, and so this is it. Any cable, this is as well the Zoom. Any cable that you use for the SP404 will also work with this. Now, on the other hand, if you have, for example, microfreak adapters from Arturia, this won't work because this is MIDI type A. Okay, so don't bother. Hey, what's up, DA? I actually searched for that Behringer Go MIDI host. It's really cheap. It costs something like 25 euros or so. The thing is, I thought about, the possibilities that I can have with a kind of device, with a kind of if a computer can do what the Behringer can do, but then I can expand that even further. So I thought of the possibilities, and I thought I have to give this a try because a computer for 90 euros, it's not that much. Even if it doesn't work specifically for this, I can use it for other stuff. That's not a problem. It's not a waste of money. But if it does work, like, it's great. It's just great. But as I was saying, do not use Arturia adapters, the MIDI TRS adapters with LiveTrack L6 because they won't work. Now, for this, I will use an actual Boss cable, and I'll just connect it to the MIDI out of the LiveTrack L6. It's a shame that I don't have like a third screen. I'm sorry for that. Maybe later I'll just switch to the actual let's call it gear cam. So you can check it out. But for now, I think most important is to look at how the setup will work on the computer. I'm just connecting my Digitact. And yeah, mix of cables here. All right, so we have the MIDI connection. Next, while we're here, I'm gonna boot up live, because the thing that that I want to do for now, I only know how to do it with live. Like live will be like the layer between the hardware and the software, right? Probably there is like a dedicated app that you can use in order to translate all of these MIDI signals without having to rely on live. But since I'm going to be using live for other stuff as well, it's fine for now. It's also what I used when for the test drive that I did in my computer. That's what I used, and I know that it can work. So it's a good thing. So now that we have the the Digitact connected directly to the Zoom, everything appears to be correct. And so what I'm going to do is boot up this again, Firefox. I'm going to look for the implementation chart. No, wait, the Digitact manual. Why? Because I want to look at MIDI values, so I know which MIDI channel to set up the chords, so they can then change the actual gear, the actual Digitact values, right? And so we're going to Digitact and pick subject, Digitact 1. Please? Is it not working? Or is it already there? Oh, okay. Manuals. Yeah. All right, cool. And now we're going to scroll down to, where is it? MIDI. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Let me see. Zoom in. I want, for example, I want to control the delay parameters, right? And so to do this, I'm going to look for the FX. Where is it? FX parameters. Yeah. Okay. So we know that I'm going to have to set the CC as 85, for example, in order to set the delay time, right? All right. So we know this. In terms of which channel to use, it depends. Your Digitact, or my Digitact, is actually set up to use. Let me see. I'm checking on the Digitact itself. So ports configuration. No, channels, and the FX channel is number 9. So it's going to be. Let me just take notes so I don't forget. The FX is 9. It's MIDI channel 9. And the CC number that I want to affect right now is 85. Right? So in theory, I'm going to, not in theory, what I'm actually going to do is go to Chord Editor, right? And I'll just set everything as number 9 here on the scene MIDI channel. There you go. And I want knob number 1 to control the CC number 85. There you go. All right. So now that this is done, communication, right, scene set. Ugh, failed to open the media. Is this because I have? What's going on? Is this because I have other media devices going on right now? You see, there's always something going on. Failed to open. Oh, okay. All right. Let's do the usual. No, that's fine. Let's do the usual, just switch off, switch on, right? Just like customer support. And we'll see if this works. Oh, it's actually considering not to be connected? Is it because the cable is a little wonky? Let me see. It was just working. I mean, come on. Is it because live is on? Could it be? Let me see. There you go. That's how sensitive all of these things are. Oh, this old gear, man. These pieces of old gear, they're so crappy sometimes. So, because live was on, because live was open, it wouldn't allow for the MIDI connection to happen. So, okay, well, whatever. We have to set this up again. So, it's going to be number 9, right? FX channel is number 9. And we're going to set this knob to control 85. All right. That's it. Now, will it work? Yes. All right. Okay. So now it worked. Cool. Confirm changes. Sure. No. I don't need this. Come on. Just let me go. All right, so we have everything set up correctly, I think. And now I think that we can move on and actually open up live because it's going to serve as the layer to kind of translate the codes, right? Translate the information. And so I have something here. And what I'm going to do right now is first check the options because I want to make sure that the options are all correct in terms of, yeah. So let me see. I think that we need to have this like this and also like this and also like this and like this. I'm probably checking out too many things, but you know, we'll try. And all right, so this means that if I twist the knob here, yeah, as you can see, like on the far corner next to the amount of CPU that it's being used, you can see like a light coming on, and this means that there's some kind of MIDI input, right? It doesn't mean that it's affecting anything on the devices themselves, but it does mean that live is actually receiving MIDI input from somewhere, right? All right, so we do know that live is okay with this. And now what I need to do is actually set up an external instrument. There's probably other ways to set up all of this, but let me see. MIDI from Nano Control. Let's leave it at all channels for now. And MIDI to Zoom on channel 9, right? So this should be fine. And if I twist the knob here, it's still sending signals there. All right, so now, moment of truth. And I'm sorry that you can see it, but you'll have to trust me. I'm going to switch to delay here. and it's not working. Like right away, not working. Okay, let's fumble with this. Let me see. Monitor in. Still not working. How did I do? Man, how did I do? Okay. MIDI 2. Is that a way to set? No. No. Still not working. How fun is this, huh? All channels. Let me see. Channel 9. Let me see if anything is working. No, it's still not changing. But, oh, I know why. I know why it's not working. Because there's nothing being plugged. There's no MIDI plug. Oh, man. It's, for real. I'm such a dumbass. Jesus. Okay. Now there is MIDI out. Let's bring this back to what it was. All channels. And channel 1. We're going to change this to channel 9. And there we go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right. Finally. It's actually working. It's actually working. So I am controlling using this thing right here. So using my Korg, I'm actually changing the delay time on the Digitakt using the LiveTrack L6, right? Like I said, there's probably other devices that you could use to accomplish this sort of thing. You don't need a LiveTrack, but you need some kind of MIDI host. And for me, it's like this is the computer is working right now. That doesn't seem to be like any sort of lag, which is something that I have to keep in mind, especially when I start using instruments and stuff. It might get a little bit weird, but we'll see. We'll see about that. It's actually it's something that I want to check. But at least in terms of knobs, like this being like a translation layer for MIDI input, success, major success here. And remember, like it could be this, but it could be something else that you have there that only works as MIDI. You know, like for example, I think. Let's give something a try, shall we? Give me a second. Yeah, so this was my first MIDI keyboard. It's an Akai, what do they call this? MPK keys? MPKs, just that? I think it's something like that. This is like the first version. I think they're on the third version, MK3, and it's even the MK3 is old by now. So this one is like really, really old. Let me see what DA22 said. So is the aim to have this micro PC boot and auto login with scripts auto load something like MIDIOX and auto open a saved patch layout? Yeah, something like that. Yes. I actually, that's why I have MIDIOX there. Because I heard that it can do that sort of automatic MIDI routing and stuff without having to rely on live. But for now, I'm gonna be using live, right? But that's the plan. Is like setting a script on Windows itself that it just logs in automatically, opens up live. I'll set, whatever I want to use as a default template. It will open that template by default, and then theoretically, it's just a matter of starting to use the thing, because everything will be set up and correct. I won't even need like an actual screen to look at it because everything will be loaded automatically. But that's that's a plan for the future. Anyway, I want to see if I can use this MIDI keyboard to control my Digitakt, for example. Let me see. So it still boots up. So like 15 years later, it still boots up. Yay! And let me see if it recognized my thing. Computer keyboard. No. I think I may have to reboot live in order for it to kind of accept that that the Akai is there. Let me see. Close. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm gonna do it from the ground up. And I'm gonna start live again. And I'm gonna try it again. All right. So, I mean, I have like an actual keyboard that I could use, like a full-fledged. I mean, it's over there, and it has like actual MIDI out, so I don't actually need this, but it's like a fun thing to try. Fun thing to try. Let me see if it's okay. As you can see right there on the corner, it is receiving input. So first thing is actually the first impression is kind of positive. I just don't know how I'm gonna set the channel. I don't know if this just plays to all channels, or I don't remember it having any sort of app that I could use it to customize. It was so long ago. Okay, but we'll see. MPK Mini input, MPK Mini output. All right, let's do it. And now here I'm going to receive MIDI from the MPK Mini, right? And exactly. And I'm going to send the MIDI out. Let me see if I don't have to actually use the external thing. Maybe I could use this. Okay, and oh, it's working. It's working on track 1. Let me see one thing. So I have it's actually working. Yeah, it's the thing is it's playing the same note, I believe. I can hear it actually. So I don't know if it's like it's in chromatic key automatically, or if it's just playing the same note and using these as triggers. But it's actually pretty cool. You know, if I wanted, I could use this with the Digitact. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I get a little bit excited with all when I'm trying all of these things and they actually work. So never mind that. Anyway, next. So we already figured out that the nano control is working. Let me just put this here and actually have a sip of water because I am kind of thirsty. These pretzels are making me thirsty. All right, so the next step, what is the next step? The next step, we already know that this is working, right? And in theory, since the Digitech is the brain, I can use this and use the channels, the different channels, to route some commands to other gear that is connected to the Digitact, right? In theory, right? I'll probably test that some other day, but you know, as a proof of concept, it's already really cool that this is working. Another thing that I want to test is, can I use 2 of these together? Like, right? So because then I could like build a box and just maybe change the faceplate on these. But I could like 3D print a box or something for these. And imagine that, like a super cheap MIDI controller for live performances, for Dawless performances. I mean, there's never enough knobs, right? There's never enough control. I think you always want to control like very specific things. So, you know, if you have stuff lying around that you're not using, this might be a way to get to use it, right? But never mind about that. The first thing is actually done. The next thing that I wanted to do was actually use this as an instrument, right? I wanted to be able to use the Digitact, control an instrument here, and then route it back to the thing. Um, DA, you mean like you mean the MIDI aux? Would you, if you have MIDI aux enabled or set up, then you can skip the need for Ableton Live? Is that it? Because yeah, that would be cool. If that's like the only thing that I want to do, it means that it's super fast. You just need to run it, and that's it. Because of course, you know, Ableton Live is always going to give some kind of how do you call it, like overhead to whatever you're doing. I mean, right now it's like 2%, 2 CPU percent, but it's like it's one more thing. It's a little bit heavy. So if you have something lightweight that can just start and act like the MIDI host, that would be perfect. All right, so I want to break free. No, that's not it. I want to control an instrument. So let me just boot up something. Like for example, let me see. No, that's not an audio effect. That's not what I want. I want some kind of. Come on, Soul. It's not that hard. Just choose something. Okay, whatever. Meld. So we have the thing here, right? We have the instrument here. And now what we want to do is to route the Digitech back to the live track L6, right? That's what we want to do. So I'm probably going to have to do this in a different way. So if I want to do this in the setup, but right now I'm just connecting the MIDI out of the Digitech directly to the MIDI in of the live track L6. And so let me choose a track here. I'm going to choose like some pattern here that is not being used right now. All right. So in the Digitech, what I'm going to have to do, I don't even know what I I don't even know what I have to do. It gets a little bit confusing like this, but I'm going to need to check what is the MIDI channel that I want to use here, right? In order for the Digitech to control it. So MIDI from Zoom L6, exactly, and MIDI Zoom L6, and let me see. Okay, so for example, not channel 9 because that's being used by the FX. Like for example, channel 12, because I know that channel 12, for example, is something that is being used by one of my circuits, and I can control the circuit using the Digitech. So for example, I'm going to one of the MIDI tracks, and here on the Digitech, I'm actually right now I'm on the MIDI source. Yeah, and this is actually already set up to accept input or to send input to channel 10. So in theory, here, let me just make sure that everything is ready. And now I'm gonna open up Chromatic. Yes, it works. It's totally working. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, this is awesome. There appears to be no significant delay either. I mean, I can't hear it right now. I don't have it plugged right now. But this is actually great. Let me see one thing. Okay, so the audio interface that I'm using right now, it only has like 2 inputs, and one of them is being used for the microphone that I'm using right now. It's a Focusrite Scarlett. The other one is mono, so the sound may be a little wonky, but I think that this will work. Okay, and monitor. Let me see. Nothing. Uh, nothing. Why nothing? Why not? Because why nothing? Because live is not correctly set up. Ah, sorry guys. Audio. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Audio. ASIO. Okay. Yeah. 256 samples and overall latency is 25 milliseconds. That could be noticeable. That could be noticeable, but I'm afraid of having less and actually causing problems. Okay, let's see how it sounds right now. So this should work now. Oh yeah, it is totally working. I mean, it's really low, but I think you can hear it, right? This is amazing. And even though there's like a complicated routing here, it doesn't appear to be. Maybe there's some slight delay. I don't know if you can hear me tapping on the Digitact, but I don't think it's not that much. It's not that much. So, yeah. Well, so far so good. I mean, you may think now. Okay, now what can you do with this tool? So you're controlling Digitact. You're controlling live with Digitact, right? Using a headless computer, right? So technically, it's just like any other synth that you may have, you know. So you could have like any sort of software synth, any sort of plugin that you like, you know. Granted, you're not gonna have any like much control over the patches and stuff, or you can get around that maybe with commands and stuff. You have to think about how you actually want to use, but the core functionality of the synth, granted that you set it up previously, yeah, you're gonna get it. You can do it. You can do this. You can use whatever synth that you have along with the Digitact on a live situation. You know, you don't actually need the screen as long as everything is preset. And that's basically your own Dawless device, right? So right now, I'm sending the audio to the main out, so to speak, because it's coming from it's coming from live. But with this, you could actually route the audio back into the Digitact, you know, and then just sample using the Digitact or play live with the Digitact. You know, it would be it. The possibilities are endless with this, endless. And yeah, like you can do this with a computer. All right, you can do this with a normal computer. That's not the point. What I'm amazed is that you can do this with a device that you can just hide, you know, below your synth stand or whatever, and you're just playing something like you're playing a synth, like an actual hardware synth. You don't need to touch any screen. You don't need to do anything of the sort. It's just there, you know. And when you want to change the type of device that you have, you can just do that. Or you can have several different devices. You know, here I have like one track, only this synth, but then you could have like several of them with for different channels, and you'd be able to use several plugins at once, you know, just like a normal piece of Dawless gear. And that's great. This is quite awesome. Um, all right. So we can control live and therefore the VSTs using Digitect. So that's pretty cool. If I wanted to change one of the CCs here, that's actually something else. I'll probably need to look into that. Like if I wanted to control the filter cutoff or something else here. Actually, I could probably test that out. Let me see. Let me check one thing. This is not. Let me see. So what I'm going to do is actually go to Digitect, and on the filter screen of the MIDI channel, you can actually set the different CC values, like, right? And so I don't think Live sees this all of these commands that you see here in the UI like actual CC numbers. It's not like every single command of these has a CC number attached, at least to my knowledge. So what I'm thinking is that you could actually set up like a random CC on the Digitect and then activate the MIDI learn here. And then you twist the knob here on the Digitect, Live would see it and allow you to change things, right? So that's what I'm going to test right now. Wish me luck. So for the first one, I'll set it to, for example, 60, whatever. Yeah, 60. And here, not incorrect mouse. So for example, I want to change the filter. Sure. And Control M. Exactly. And wait, need to change this. No, doing this incorrectly. Wait, crap. CC1. CC1. Yeah, sure. It worked. This is amazing. Is that it's actually it worked. So what I did was I went to amp and I changed the first thing to, for example, to 40 for the first CC number to 40. And then yeah, I activated the MIDI learning capability of Live, and I twisted the knob, and it worked. So now if I press escape and twist the knob right here, look, there you go. Oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. I am loving this. I am loving this. Now here, truth be told, here there's there's a slight delay. I mean, it's barely noticeable, to be honest, but it is there. If I twist it like really fast, yeah, it takes a bit to actually understand what I've done, right? But yeah, so just keep that in mind. But it is working. Maybe if I change the samples, maybe it has some. No, it shouldn't have any sort of action there. But maybe it's just it's just the way it is. But it does work, and honestly, that's what matters. So yeah, another success. All right, so we've tested using this computer, this mini PC, as a MIDI host. It worked fine. It worked just fine. And we also used it to as a soft instrument, to control using the Dawless gear, and that also worked fine, including changing the actual parameters of the synth that we want to use, and that's awesome. So the thing that I would like to yeah, forgot to actually show it out, but yeah, this is awesome. The next thing probably that I want to show that I want to test actually is could I route audio into the live track and actually affect the whatever is there the with the effects of the of live, right? Can I use VST effects with the audio input coming from the Digitakt and whatever? So that's what I'm going to test right now, and for that I need some cables. Oh schmoly. I'm actually stepping on the cable right now. And this is actually a pretty important cable because this cable belongs to my tractor DJ table, DJ mix table. And it's like it's the cable that connects to the iPod. It's an old one. It's like it's this S2, the tractor S2 MK2 or whatever. But it connects to my old iPod, and it's like it's cool if you want to kind of like do a DJ set with only just a few songs. You can use it, and it's actually pretty fun. But back to the task at hand, we're going to need audio cables, right? Just a second. All right, so we got them cables. So what I want to do is get the left and right, and oh, this is gonna get messy over here, but yeah, like this. All right, so right now it's on input left and right of number 4, I think. Okay. All right, so I don't think I have anything here. I mean, do I have any sort of audio that I could use here with just beats? Ugh. Let me just load in the project. Load project. And sure. No. Yes. All right. Load OK. And play. Get something. Something like this is enough. All right, that's enough. Okay, so we have audio coming in, and now what we actually need to do is check if I can use live to actually affect it, right? So let's delete this. It's not needed anymore. Maybe I can't. All right, so audio in. Why external in? I think I have to activate the inputs on the live track, right? Link audio inputs. Yeah, exactly. I think 1 and 2 is actually whatever. Okay. 11 and 12. Yeah, exactly. Now I've muted the track on the live track L6. but the audio is still going in the live track. So in theory, if I go here and activate monitor, it will still, yeah, it'll still work. There you go. Okay, it does sound good. I just don't know about the delay, but I'm not going to worry about that right now, because what I can do now is just add an audio effect, like for example the auto filter. Yeah. Exactly. So this is affecting the audio that is coming in from the Digitact. All right, so this works. So if anything, I could use this as a end of chain kind of device. I could like apply a compressor. I could apply some EQ if I wanted, you know. So it could be like I'm not gonna say mastering, like a mixing sort of thing, you know. Even though the Zoom already has that kind of control, but here you do have more options, you know, and better plugins, especially because the LiveTrack L6 has a compressor, but it's not that good. So you could have like a nice compressor, and you know, maybe a saturator, something, you know, to give a little more pizzazz to your overall sound, you know. So think about that. Now the thing is, there might be some sort of latency latency latency. There's always going to be some latency, but the thing is it noticeable or not? How can we test this? Well, I just pressed stop on my keyboard, but it's not. The audio is coming from the Digitact. All right. So let me just deactivate this. Yeah. Track 1. There is no latency. Look. I mean, there's probably latency 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 but it's really not. You can tell, at least not here. Here, because you can hear the sound of the key being pressed, and it's simultaneous. This means that the audio that is coming in from the Digitact is being processed right away, right? Oh, this is amazing. This is actually amazing. I mean, I would need to test, like, for example, if I wanted to use, imagine that I wanted to use an instrument and apply effects to the overall thing using live, right? I would need to test, like, if it would create some sort of latency there, but in terms of, yeah, it is working fine. Oh man, this is actually pretty cool. And so now you start thinking about the possibilities, right? Because then you can use this to treat like individual inputs on your devices. Like the Zoom LiveTrack is already a great device to mix, right? Because it has several different inputs, and you can have, like, for example, 4 stereo devices and 2 mono devices, right? All at the same time. But what this allows you to do is actually route all of them to your system, right? To your computer, and apply effects to all of these on their own lanes if you want. Then use a USB controller to change whatever you want, and the audio will then come out from the live track with basically no latency. This is actually awesome. Oh man, I am so this is awesome. You could also use this as like the device in the middle of your setup because it won't introduce like that much delay, it seems. So you could process all of the audio coming in. For example, in my case, it would be the circuit tracks in the circuit rhythm. I could apply something like a compressor directly to those. I could pump up the volume, for example, because the output volume is very low. I could add some saturation, some grittiness to it. Um, I could route all of that audio in the live track and then out the live track to the digitone and then to the digitact and have like it's just another device. And listen, this may be like I said, let me just have a sip of water. None of what I'm talking about here is groundbreaking. Okay, this if you have a computer, this of course this is going to be possible. The thing is, we want to use these Dawless pieces of gear on their own, right? We really want to be able to just set them up and use them as we want and not really touch screens or keyboards or whatever. And besides that, Dawless gear is really expensive, like really, really expensive. This computer, it costs something like 100 euros. And I'm not going to say that this is all you need. Of course, you also, in my example, you also need Ableton Live. You also need LiveTrack L6, but there are other possibilities. Like I said, for example, you could use like a cheaper DAW, uh, Reaper, maybe. I don't know if he has the routing possibilities that Live has, but it is possible. Maybe a different version of Live, like the intro. Maybe it would accept like it would allow for you to do this sort of thing. And in terms of devices, yeah, like the LiveTrack L6, I recommend it because it's like even I use it like every day almost. It's the main interface of my computer. Um, and I use it for recording videos for YouTube, for example, because it allows me to record the audio coming in from my gear and also the microphone at the same time. It's a multi-track, so it records each one of those separately, and I can then use it in the editing stage like separately. And it's a mixer. It's a good mixer that you can use, like a compact mixer that you can use for your Dawless live mixes if you want. It has included effects, even though I don't use them. But it has like delay and reverb. You can change the EQ settings, for example, for each channel. It has like a bunch of cool features, right? It's like a Swiss Army knife for Dawless things. And you can power it using a cell phone, right? It's great when you're on the go. Um, but there's other possibilities, like for example, since the Digitact is class, how do they say it, like class compliant, it's a class compliant device. You should be able to connect it to a computer and to any computer without any specific drivers, and be able to route the audio coming in from live or out or whatever, and do that sort of operation like I did with the live track. It should be possible because the inputs and outputs still show in live as normal as they should. And there are other cheaper devices that you could use, like for example, a Focusrite audio interface like the Scarlett, probably one with more inputs than the Solo that I have here, because it's not really good for that. But anything else, I think it will work. Um, but yeah, this opens up like a lot of possibilities, you know. And like I said, like maybe the next step is actually adding like a little tiny screen with touch controls, like a small one, uh, that I could use along. I mean, it's just, if anything, it just feels cool. It's like you're commanding this spaceship. um, but I'm so surprised that it works as well as it does. You know, it's immediate. I mean, I do need to stress test it. Like, what can I add here? Like, what sort of plugins can I add until like the computer can take no more, and starts introducing pops. You know, it starts breaking up the sound quality. But you know, that's, at least you can do something with it. You know, this is amazing. All right. Um, I don't think there's much else that I can say right now. I want to do like an actual video, like a scripted video talking about all these things. I also have other ideas for this specific device that involves like the modular things that I was talking about, right? Um, yeah, but that's coming in the future. For now, I just wanted to get on stream and kind of like, since I have to, I'm gonna spend the time. Might as well just do it online, in case anyone's interested. Um, so yeah, I mean, you guys have a nice day, a nice rest of the day, and we'll talk soon. All right, you guys be good.